Number one, listen closely. You are not as free as you think you are. Your chains are invisible, forged from habits, fears, and half-buried memories you never chose, but obey every day. Jung called that realm the unconscious. Machiavelli called it something else, an opportunity. Because whoever understands the hidden machinery of people doesn't just survive the game of life, he rigs the board. Right now, you drift between impulses, playing roles other people wrote for you. Good son, loyal worker, harmless friend. You were trained to be predictable, agreeable, safe. That is psychological slavery. I'm not here to comfort the slave. I'm here to talk to the part of you that is sick of kneeling. The part of you that feels a quiet rage when you're overlooked. The part that knows you could be dangerous if you ever stopped apologizing for your existence. This is not about cheap motivation. This is about power, cold, discipline, surgical. You will learn to see your own mind as a battlefield, your emotions as soldiers, and your beliefs as weapons or shackles. After this, you will never again mistake kindness for weakness or cruelty for strength. You will see people as they are, driven by desire, fear, and hidden wounds. And you will see yourself the same way, without flinching. If you stay with me, you will not become nice, you will become untouchable. Number two, Jung understood something most men run from. You are not one mind, you are a crowd. Archetypes, instincts, shadows, forces you did not choose, but that still command you. You think you're deciding, but your childhood, your trauma, your culture are voting before you ever speak. That's why you repeat the same mistakes with different faces. Same betrayal, new person. Same humiliation, new setting. That's not fate. That's programming, psychological slavery. And here is the first Machiavellian rule of inner power. If you don't rule your inner kingdom, something else will. Your shadow is the part of you you've buried. Your anger, your ambition, your lust, your hunger for dominance and recognition. You pushed it down to look good. That's how you became weak. The world doesn't reward the man who amputates his power to look harmless. It crushes him. To become untouchable, you must drag your shadow into the light. Look at your envy without lying. Look at your cravings for control without guilt. Admit that you want power, not to control others like a cartoon villain, but to stop being controlled by them. Stop pretending you're morally above the game. You're in the game whether you like it or not. The question is simple. Do you walk on the board or get moved like a piece? Number three, slavery today rarely uses chains of iron. It uses chains of meaning. Ideas nailed into your mind when you were too young to question them. Be nice. Don't make people uncomfortable. Winning is selfish. Anger is bad. So you handed over your teeth to be accepted. That's how power works in refined societies. It convinces you that your own strength is shameful. Meanwhile, those who tell you to be soft are hard as stone behind closed doors. Your unconscious bought into a story that your role is to serve, please, submit, and hope. Hope for approval, hope for permission, hope for validation. That's modern slavery. You don't need someone holding a whip. Your own mind does the job. Machiavellian realism cuts through that. It says, people will use you as much as your illusions allow. If you present yourself as endlessly available, endlessly forgiving, endlessly patient, don't be surprised when the world writes you into the script as a background character. To become untouchable, you must rewrite the script. You stop glorifying suffering without purpose. You stop romanticizing sacrifice that no one respects. You start treating your time, your energy, your attention as scarce, expensive, and guarded. That shift alone makes certain kinds of parasites lose interest. They can sense when a mind is no longer for sale. Number four, let's talk about people. Jung showed us the masks, what he called personas. Machiavelli showed us the motives behind those masks. Most people aren't honest, not because they're evil, but because they're terrified. They want status, security, belonging. They'll lie, flatter, gossip, and betray to keep those. They smile at you while negotiating your value in their head. If you expect loyalty from everyone, you are a child. If you expect self-interest from everyone, you are prepared. That's cold psychology, not cynicism. You start assuming that every interaction contains a hidden transaction, attention, reputation, access, resources. You listen for what is not being said. You watch what people do, not what they claim. When someone suddenly praises you, you ask, what do they gain if I believe this? When someone attacks you, you ask, what are they protecting? This doesn't make you paranoid, it makes you strategic. And strategy is how you walk through crowds without ever being owned by them. You don't overshare. You don't explain your every move. You let people see exactly what benefits you for them to see, and nothing more. To become untouchable, you must be readable on the surface, but unreadable at your core. A calm, polite mask, a mind like a locked vault. Number 5. Now we move inside again, into your emotional core. Slaves react, rulers respond. That's the difference. Right now, your moods are probably remote controlled by external events. A notification, a comment, a small rejection. Someone doesn't text back, and suddenly your value collapses in your own eyes. That's not just emotional fragility. That's a lever. Anyone who can trigger that is holding a piece of your mind. Stoicism is not about feeling nothing. It's about refusing to let anyone else pilot your nervous system. You can feel the hit, but you don't spiral. Anger rises, you observe it like a storm seen from a fortress window. Fear spikes, you register it, tighten your grip, and keep walking. You stop blurting out your feelings like a confession, hoping someone will soothe you. You become your own container. Jung would say you're integrating, not repressing. You acknowledge your hurt, but you don't let it decide the next move. Machiavellian logic adds this: a man who can't regulate his emotions is easy to push, easy to bait, easy to control. If they can make you angry, they can make you stupid. If they can make you desperate, they can make you obedient. So you train yourself, pause before you speak, slow your breath when offended, say less when you're provoked. Silence becomes a weapon, composure becomes armor, and slowly people realize they can't move you like they move the others. Number 6, look at social hierarchies with clear eyes. Every group has ranks, spoken or unspoken, and most people claw for position like starving animals. Validation hungry, approval addicted. That is why they bend, fake, and betray. They are terrified of exile. You become untouchable when you are no longer afraid of standing alone. When you are willing to walk away from a friend group, a job, even a partner, rather than beg for a seat at a table that disrespects you. Jung would say your need to be liked is a projection of an unloved part of yourself. Machiavelli would say it's a liability. Both are right. You start reclaiming power the moment you stop negotiating your self-worth with people whose own lives are in ruins. Your value is not up for public vote. That doesn't mean arrogance. It means grounded self-respect. You contribute, you support, but you never chase. You never beg. You never grovel to stay where you're obviously not valued. The mindset is simple. If my presence is not appreciated, my absence will be. You become scarce by choice, not by accident, and people feel it. Those who respect strength will step up. Those who feed on weakness will drift away. Good, let them. Number 7, power is not loud. It doesn't shout. It doesn't explain itself 1,000 times. Real power is knowing you can walk away from any situation that disrespects your terms, and having built yourself so that you actually can. That means skills, discipline, and options. Psychological slavery whispers, you have no choice. Power replies, I will create one. You stop attaching your survival to one job, one person, one city, one identity. You diversify your sources of income, but also your sources of meaning. The less desperate you are, the harder you are to control. Machiavellianism here is simple. Never put your neck where someone else holds all the leverage. Don't hand people the ability to destroy you with a single decision. Jung adds another layer. Recognize the part of you that enjoys victimhood, that secretly wants to be rescued, pitied, fixed. That part keeps you in cages. You starve it by taking responsibility in brutal detail. You track your time. You confront your laziness. You accept that no one is coming to save you. Then you act accordingly, quietly, consistently. No big speeches, just small, ruthless improvements that, over time, make you immune to petty threats. Number 8 strategy is the art of thinking beyond the moment. Slaves think in reactions. Rulers think in positions. You don't just ask, how do I win this argument? You ask, does this argument even matter to my long game? Most of the time it doesn't. You let others burn energy on ego battles while you conserve yours for moves that actually change your life. You stop correcting every lie told about you. You stop trying to convert every critic. You understand perception is important, but not every narrative deserves your attention. Machiavellian insight. Information is power, so you listen more than you speak. You let others reveal their weaknesses, their triggers, their insecurities, while you reveal almost nothing of yours. Jungian insight. You stay aware of your own blind spots, your own complexes, so that your ego doesn't sabotage your strategy. When you feel the urge to overshare, you ask, why do I want them to know this? What am I trying to get? Validation? Sympathy? Control? You cut the impulse at the root. You become a man of few but weighted words. Every yes is deliberate. Every no is final. Over time, people learn you are not easy to read, not easy to predict, and definitely not easy to use. That's the beginning of untouchability. Number 9, there is a cost to this path. Power is lonely at times, not because you push everyone away, but because you stop tolerating shallow bonds built on mutual weakness. Many will prefer the comfort of shared excuses over the discomfort of growth. Let them. Jung would remind you, every step toward individuation, toward becoming who you truly are, separates you from the herd. Machiavelli would nod and say, that separation is necessary. The ruler cannot think like the ruled. Masculine stoicism is not about becoming a stone. It's about carrying your solitude without whining. You cultivate a few deep alliances instead of chasing a crowd. You choose principles that matter more than temporary gratification. Discipline over comfort, respect over popularity, sovereignty over approval. You don't need to prove your strength by shouting. Your life becomes the proof. The way you hold your posture, the way you say no without a paragraph of explanation, the way you don't flinch when someone withdraws their affection as a test. They can walk. You remain. Untouchable doesn't mean nobody can hurt you. It means no hurt can break your direction. Pain becomes feedback, not a verdict. You keep moving. You keep building. Quiet, focused, dangerous in your calm. Number 10. So here you stand, one decision away from a different life. You can close this and go back to sleepwalking through your days, enslaved by old stories, cheap emotions, and other people's expectations. Or you can treat this as a line in the sand. From today onwards, you watch your mind like a fortress, not a hallway. You stop handing keys to anyone who smiles at you. You integrate your shadow instead of denying it. You see the politics in every room and refuse to be the expendable piece. You speak less. You observe more. You detach from what weakens you. You walk away from what insults your soul. You build skills until your value is undeniable, even to those who dislike you. You become the calm presence others can't shake, the man who doesn't beg, doesn't chase, doesn't fold at the first sign of pressure. That's what it means to approach Carl Jung's political psychology from the inside out. Understanding the slavery of the unconscious, the mechanics of power, and then using that knowledge to rule yourself first. Because the man who rules himself is the hardest man to rule. If you felt this in your bones, don't just vanish back into the noise. Stay in this work with me. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next in your evolution.